The Vikings rookies have reported to training camp and the veterans are right behind them, which means Vikings football is finally back. Though this might be the most boring part of the season for some fans, this is the most important for putting together the best 53-man roster. I think only about 30 players are guaranteed a spot on this roster, with various roster spots wide open. So here are the top 10 for your Minnesota Vikings. Let's start off number 10. We have the most interesting, intriguing, says no one ever, camp battle of this year, and that is long snapper. When was the last time we've had a good long snapper battle? And this is between longtime Vikings long snapper Kevin McDermott and 7th round pick Austin Cutting, who was cleared to play for the Vikings. Now this one's kind of interesting. I think Kevin McDermott's been fine, but usually when we get a new special teams player, it would be to go to the rookie. Right now, McDermott, I would say, is the front runner, with Cutting having to beat him out. It'd be weird to draft a long snapper and not have him on the roster. But also, I don't like all this turnover that we've been having on special teams. I want that unit to be intact to get some camaraderie between the units. So it'd be nice just to keep that stable for a season or two. Number 9. A bit of interesting one. We have tight end and running back backups. This spot's just kind of open. When you have that extra spot or two on the offensive side of the ball, it'd usually be keeping one of these guys here, but maybe we won't. I think this is a option for 0-0 or maybe one spot open, and these are just kind of the fringe offensive players. So let's look at it. And the front runner here is Amir Abdullah, and he's basically a must-win kick return job. I don't think there's any way he's beating out Mike Boone for running back 3. So he will have to do that. But number 2, we have Tyler Conklin. He was a late round tight end last year. He played in some games this last year. Didn't look very good, and with our new tight end Irv Smith, there's not a whole lot of chance for him to get there. But maybe the Vikings want a little more tight end depth, so he has a chance if he proves it in camp. On the outside looking in, we have Kerry Blasigame, kind of a fullback, running back hybrid guy. Maybe in the next Mike Boone, we'll have to see, but he'll have the hardest time getting in. Number 8, going on the defensive side of the ball, we have defensive end. And right now, inked in for having a position is Daniil Hunter, Everson Griffin, even though he could potentially be a dumb cap casualty option, and Stephen Weatherly. Those are all 3. So we have 1 to 2 spots open, and the front runner right now is Tashawn Bauer. He's been a decent backup last year. Been okay, but he can always get better. And we also have Afidi Odidababu. Still can't pronounce it. Bounced around the league a little bit, but we ended back with the Vikings and was okay. Showed up a little bit in preseason last year. And Ade Runa, 6th round pick last year, supposed to be highly talented. Didn't see much of him at all last year, but maybe a chance for him to get on the team. On the outside looking in, we have a little bit of a favorite for some of these guys that like the underdogs. That is Carter Schultz, an AAF standout. So a guy that has a chance to go from this other professional league to the NFL and make the roster with the Vikings. So a cool story there. Be a fun guy, kid to cheer for. Number 7, we have linebacker. Inked in. Only Bar and Kendricks. But also very likely is Ben Gedeon. But all 3 will probably be on the roster, which leaves 1 to 3 open slots depending on how much depth they want at linebacker. The top option is Eric Wilson. He's been an explosive backup. He could even compete with Ben Gedeon for a starting spot for that weak side linebacker when we're in that base package in that 4-3. But also we have Contrell Brothers, who's been a reliable backup, but not nearly as explosive as Eric Wilson. And then Cameron Smith, the 5th round rookie of this last draft, and should be a good special teams player. So depending on how much we want for depth, and also linebackers are really good special teams players, we'll have to have a battle there. Number 6, Mike Zimmer's favorite position, cornerback. And it's pretty full right now. Inked in, we have Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, Mike Hughes, and Holton Hill, but he will be suspended for the first 4 games. And of course, Mike Hughes is coming off an injury, so we'll have to see if he'll be ready to play, but looks like he will be able to. But always coming after a knee injury like what we saw from Dalvin last year, potentials of injury are pretty high. But let's look at it, and I think we have 1 to 2 spots open until week 4. I think if we're all healthy week 4 when Holton Hill serves as a suspension, I think 1 extra corner at the max. So the front runner right now is Chris Boyd, 7th rounder rookie. Looked like a steal in the draft, so hopefully he turns out to be. But also we have Duke Thomas, another AAF, NFL bounce around the league guy. And then outside looking in, we have Nate Meters, an undrafted rookie. So we have some options here. Well, I think Chris Boyd is the most likely one to make it. Let's go top 5. The 5 most intriguing team battles. Let's go back in the back of the defense. Let's look at safety. Inked in Harrison Smith, Anthony Harrison, Jaron Kearse. We lost Anderson Day, so we need to fill it in. 1, maybe 2 spots. Safety and corner are both similar. You might be able to get some guys that can play both, so maybe they go that route. But front runner for safety, nobody. Nobody's standing out of the crowd right now. But we have some options. We have the first one. We have Darren Smith, 5th year backup. Been in the league a while, maybe can make a play. Marcus Epps, 6th round rookie. And outside looking in, we have Micah Alberbanthony, undrafted rookie. Just because those last 2 are late round and undrafted picks does not mean that they could not make the team. The Vikings have a history of taking these late round picks and undrafted rookies and making them really solid safeties in the NFL. I see you, Anderson Deo, Anthony Harris, and Jaron Kearse. It's almost kind of weird looking at Harrison Smith and seeing him that he is a 1st round pick when we have so many that were very late or undrafted. But number 4, going to the front of the defense, defensive tackle, inked in Linval Joseph, Shamar Stephen, Jaleel Johnson. 1, 2, 3 spots possibly open on the defensive line. Front runner Jalen Holmes, drafted as a defensive end last year, I believe a 4th round pick, and he was supposed to be that defensive end, but he was always kind of a hybrid player. He put on a little bit of a weight and could be the only true 3-tech on the team, which the Vikings really need and could really help Jalen get some good playing time, and I think almost assures him a roster spot. And then also we have Hercules Mataafa, who is listed as kind of across the board. That's basically been his only knock. He was a highly coveted athlete coming out of college, but where he's going to play in the NFL is basically a mystery. Basically the biggest reason he went undrafted last year, of course, tore his ACL. He was out for the year and back, and the Vikings, I think I'm looking at him at defensive tackle, so hopefully he has a good chance there. And also we have Armand Watts, 6th rounder this last draft, and outside looking in, Curtis Cothran, undrafted rookie. All have decent spots to make the team, especially if they want to jump in and play some 3 technique. But dark horse there, Everson Griffin. Let's get it. Number 3, offensive line, everybody's favorite position. Inked in Riley Reef, probably, although he's another candidate to be a cap casualty, although I think just like Everson, it'd be a dumb choice. Elfline, Bradbury, Klein, O'Neal, Samia. Even though he's a rookie this year, I think he's way too good to test him onto the practice squad or anything like that. And very, very likely, but not quite inked in, Rashad Hill, swing tackle last 2 years. I think he has had too much playing experience to keep as a backup, and probably will be the first in line to be a backup tackle if we have any injuries this year. But that still leaves the Vikings with 1 to 2 spots open, and we have a ton of candidates. Top runner, Brett Jones. Started a few games at the beginning of the season last year when Pat Elflein was recovering, and I think he played fine. So he would be a solid choice, especially if he can get some reps in at guard. But moving down, we have Danny Isidora, a decent backup. He played a couple years ago, but hasn't played a whole lot since. I thought he looked fine when he was in, but he hasn't played. That might say that maybe the coaches don't think he's that good. Next we have Ali, 6th round giant, rookie this last year. Looks like he could be a stud down the road, but very developmental, so probably won't get a whole lot of playing, but I think he has a really good chance of making the team. Dakota Dozier, 4-year backup with the Jets, but he has no starts, so another kind of an unknown. And outside looking in, Cornelius Edison and Advante Collins, they both played last year and during the preseason, but did not look very impressive at all. So number 2, camp battle, quarterback. Oh, everybody's battling for that number 1 spot. Just kidding. Inked in Kirk Cousins, but that is it. The Vikings have 1 to 2, probably 2 spots wide open. And the top runner, Kyle Sloter, highly paid undrafted rookie from a couple years ago and looked really good in preseason last year, but that does not stop the Vikings of bringing in more competition. This offseason, they signed wily veteran Sean Mannion. He could be that guy to be that veteran. That we did the same thing with Case Keenum, and we like getting these veterans. And if it's more almost like a Terrence Newman situation on the other side of the ball, then we get a guy that can talk to your starter. Does Kirk Cousins need that? That's up to the coaches. Number 3, we have Jake Browning, kind of a surprise, highly paid undrafted rookie during this year after the draft. So an interesting thing that we would have 2 very similar players, very high-paid undrafted rookies that could come in and play, but they have to beat out the veteran to make it on the rosters. I don't see us keeping 4 quarterbacks. Weird things have happened, though. But number 1, probably obvious. Wide receiver. Right now, inked in only Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. That leaves 3 to 5 spots wide open. Depends on the depth. Depends who wants to earn it in camp, who looks the best, and do they all look bad? Then maybe only go with a couple. But the top runner right now is everybody's favorite 4th-year wide receiver, Laquan Treadwell. But is Ian Stefanski's doghouse will even make the team if the Vikings think one of these younger guys' upside is worth cutting Laquan? Would they do it? Would they pull the trigger? That something we'll have to see. If you want a video on that, comment down below. But moving on, we have Chad Beebe, who looked so impressive last year. I thought he looked like a mini Adam Thielen. When Adam Thielen was really young, he was making plays on special teams. He was doing a really good short, medium routes. Very good, would fit in. He even played 1 game last year and is basically untouchable. He has to stay healthy. I think he has a very good chance of making the team. Also, Dylan Mitchell, another late round pick, but he looked really good, and he has another chance of making the team. Jordan Taylor, probably the most impressive wide receiver in the little mini camp. He's a 6'5" monster, would fit in very well. Stephon Diggs and Thielen, none of them are 6'5", none of them are 6'3" or higher. I think Thielen is close, but we could have that monster receiver just give another good option out there for Kirk Cousins to chuck the ball down to. Just put him out wide, put Thielen or Diggs in the slot, and let's go. He'd be another good option. He has a little bit more experience than some of these other guys. And also, another rookie, we have Olasibi Johnson. He's a little bit of a speedster, a little bit different than Dylan Mitchell, but he would be a little bit more of that deep ball threat, which the Vikings do need. But we still have 2 more options. They're both outside looking in, and one is Jeff Badette. Extremely fast, the fastest player on the team. You would outspeed anybody if the Vikings could get him into the game. The problem is his route tree very, very limited. Think of him a lot like how we thought of Cordero Patterson. Can we use him in ways to utilize his skills? He is a little bit more of an athlete than he is a football player, so Vikings would have to figure it out. A lot of bubble screens, a lot of just 9 routes. Just go beat the other guy, run past him, Kirk Cousins throw the ball up. I think there's room for a player like that, especially when the Vikings would use a little bit more explosive plays on offense. And he's kind of also battling with Amir Abdullah for a return job. If he can return kicks and punts, he's on the job regardless. But that job comes down to who will catch the ball better, and that's not exactly Amir's strong suit. So, but Badette does have a solid chance of making the team. And lastly, we have Brandon Zylstra, a bit of a fan favorite. I bet he was saying he was winning training camp last year, was hurt, Never saw him again. So you never really saw him in any preseason games. He looked very pedestrian. So I think he will have the hardest chance with all these intriguing players. And will Quan Treadwell be worth it on stopping maybe one of these other guys from making the team and hoping that they get on the practice squad? That will be a tough one for many Vikings fans if one of our highly touted rookies get snatched away from our practice squad. But there we have it. There were the top 10 camp battles of the Vikings for this 2019 preseason. Check it out. Which one are you looking for the best? Is there a particular player you're rooting for to make the team that maybe is an underdog? Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys in the next Josie Vikings video. Hopefully less than a month away this time.